Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my friends, to another live stream. This is not necessarily a formal part of a podcast, but here on YouTube to talk with my dear friends, Amy and Nancy Harrington, about some incredibly exciting things they have coming up and just what their mission is now embodying, embracing in the world, a new thing that I'm just super excited about. And today I'm actually going to publicly talk about my novel for the first time. So that's what we're here to do today. I'm so excited to be joined by Amy and Nancy, and I would love if you all would introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. So we are sisters, if that's not obvious. And I won't go into the big, long background details unless you really want it. But Amy and I came from the entertainment world. Amy worked at Warner Brothers on many movies like Harry Potter and The Matrix. I had a career in advertising and I had a theater. And we both left our jobs at the same time, ended up in the world of celebrity interviewing. And then we love doing that. We still do it. We did one yesterday. It's so much fun. But we've decided we wanted to do something more impactful. So we started the Passionistas Project. And it's a podcast. It's a women's equity summit every year. And it's an online sisterhood where women come together to lift one another up and support one another in the areas of business development, personal growth, and social impact. And we have made so many dear friends, including the lovely Safrianna Lughna.
Thank you. Yes. Anything you want to share, Amy?
Yeah, I think, we really welcome women and non-binary people from all walks of life. So it's a really diverse community. Our mission is to uplift the voices of people who don't always get the spotlight. So through all of those initiatives that Nancy just said, we do that, but also through our storytelling events, our anthology book series that we publish. Now we're helping women write their books and memoirs by either giving them feedback or interviewing them to help draw out their stories so they never have to stare at a blank screen. So it's just really all about sharing women's voices. And again, especially the women that often feel they are unseen and unheard. We know how important their stories are, and we want to help them have a voice.
And I thank you both so much for what you do. I sing your praises everywhere I go. And if you want more of Amy and Nancy's backstory and more information about the Passionistas, it is linked below, as well as we do have another actually in a podcast episode. And that audio will be coming out soon, actually, as well. So you can go watch the live episode and learn even more about the incredible things that you all have. But I'm so excited about everything that you are transitioning into doing with books and the written word, because truly it's a legacy people get to leave behind when they put their words in writing. And you all did a beautiful anthology that recently came out. And I admit I've been in so many anthologies and I haven't even read like a majority of the anthologies I've been in, like if I'm perfectly honest. And I really found myself like I bought it to support you all. And like I was really enjoying flipping through and reading everybody's stories. Like they're all really, you gather incredible people. The Passionistas community is incredible. And now you are branching out into more of this author journey, which, speaking of which, just in case you don't know me, I'm Safrianna Lughna, the Queer Spirit Guide, and I'm a trauma therapist turned transformational mentor. And I am a best-selling author, speaker, CEO. And I know I've been reflecting on the fact that I am a bestseller. Like I have hit both bestsellers in my own publications as well as anthologies I've been in. So I have that title under my belt. And yet I am so terrified to share my story with my audience. I'm like, how does this work? So you can have this title even and reach that point and still be like, oh, but sharing my story is really hard. So that's so much of what you all are now doing in the world, is helping people who either are authors or want to be authors and writers to share their story. And so, how How have you seen authentic storytelling really create these genuine connections between people and their audience and their business and all of that?
Right. I mean, storytelling is life. Storytelling is what people have been doing since people could speak. You know, it's how we communicate. It's how we connect to one another. And I think that we are, just like you experience, like we're all so afraid to tell our stories. I mean, for years and years and years, Amy and I didn't think we had a story. We're like, we just work, we do our thing. Like, we don't, people aren't interested in what we're doing. We're shining a light on everybody else. And it's like, once we told our story a few times and people were like, oh my God, that's fascinating. We're like, oh, I guess we do have a story to tell. You know, and I think most women are like that. Most women think that their story isn't valuable, that their story isn't interesting to people. And we hear it over and over and over again from women. We hear it from women who have written books and have shopped them to traditional publishing houses, who say, no one wants to hear the story of a disabled Black woman who's been through cancer treatments 4 times. And we're like, what? Who doesn't want to hear that story?
Right.
You know, so it's just, you know, the whole basis of the Passionistas Project is storytelling and sharing stories. And that's how we learn from one another. And that's how we grow. And that's how we communicate and empathize and become better people in a better world, we hope. You know?
I love that. And I agree. Like, stories there are conjoined human cultural history. And we have all these symbols and, you know, archetypes and character types and patterns of words and speech and all of that that we can see in common with one another and learn from one another on. So it's like, I could geek out. I was an English major, by the way, in undergrad. And again, that's why it's like, when I think about how much authentic storytelling is my passion, yet there are still these blockages here. It's so interesting because I'm such a visible person. Like, I'm live right now, right? We're live. There's people watching and I can do that. But there's something about these sharing in writing in a published printed fashion or something that really holds a record and a weight that has a legacy to it, I guess, that's really heavy. Would you say that that's like you're helping people with their legacies with this new branch off in your work?
Definitely. I think that there are so many of the women that we work with too. It's not just their legacy, it's like their family's legacy. Like, we're working with a woman on her memoir right now who's the descendant of the stolen generation in Australia. So it's 3 generations of women, 3 or 4 generations of women before her whose children were pulled from their mothers as children or at birth. Wow. And how that now impacts her story and the story that she's telling about her life. And while she's writing it, she's working through, like, she's pretty in touch with what happened now and how that's affected her. She's a very thoughtful person. She's done a lot of work. But as she's writing her book, she's having these moments of discovery about all of this that she hasn't had in therapy sessions or in, Tony Robbins workshops and things like that. But because she's tapping into it on such an intimate level, she's discovering things not only about her own personal legacy, but about the legacy of generations of women that have come before her. And so it's like, it's really insane to see how deep it goes in the ancestral history just by sharing our own story, and now the legacy that we'll have on her children as they move forward and they read this, and then the ripple effect of all the other women who will read it and be impacted by it. So the legacy is a huge part of it, and I think it's something that seems really scary, like, oh my God, I'm not just writing a blog, or I'm not just gonna talk on a podcast. Like, you are creating something that has real power. Not that those other things aren't powerful, but this is like and it's time consuming.
Yes.
So it feels really daunting, which is why the way we do it is we interview people. If you have an existing book like you did, and I can't wait to talk about your book, we'll give feedback. But
Yeah.
if you're starting from scratch, or you're halfway through and you're feeling stuck, we hop on Zooms and we interview you and we have conversations and we figure out the structure of your story, the arc of your story, and then we dive deep into those things. So you're never sitting there going like, I don't know what to say. This
Right.
isn't important. It's like, we'll ask you, you tell us the basics, and then we'll decide what should be explored more. And that's going to then help you figure out what really matters to you that you really want to express. So it just helps draw out the key moments that are the legacy that you want to share. So I know that was a long answer, but
no, I mean, it's important. Like this, I so agree with you. I've published 4 books now. The novel that you all helped me with was number 4. And I mean, it's a permanent record.
Right.
And there's all the anthologies, and actually I had a story about that. This was one of the wildest moments in my life. To make a long story short, met somebody at a workshop. I was a participant. They were a participant. She hired me to be her guide. We went through this whole program together. And literally, like, we met at this event, right? I went to her house. We were doing some in-person energy work. Like, this was a local person, because again, local retreat. And I'm like turning to go, and I see one of my anthologies sitting on the shelf. And I was like, where'd you get that? And she's like, oh, I bought this years ago. I haven't read much of it, actually, but the title like really spoke to me. It was Raising Wild Ones. It was actually my first piece of writing I ever did where I published using my name, ever.
Wow.
And there it was on her shelf. And it was just this like, oh, there's my legacy. Like, that's how this started. And so it was like, by giving myself permission to publish one thing, even, it was in an anthology. So it wasn't like me on the cover, woo, right? But that was like, for me, peeling back that first layer of visibility and going, oh, I can publish that. And now it's like all of these people that bought the anthologies I've been in probably bought it because another of their friends was in it, or a family member or whomever. And then they might find me that way. And seeing your stuff on a bookshelf in a store is wild. Like, there is something so different about publishing a blog. I loved that you said that, Amy, because I'm a blogger.
Yeah.
I've been blogging since I was like literally 11 years old. I had my first Zanga blog or something, or Angel Fire back in the day.
Wow.
And I'm like, they're permanent records in a way. You could go delete your blog or whatever, but it does not feel the same. I even wrote recently, I said something in a blog about, like, I know I'm blogging this today and tomorrow I'm going to totally change my mind and I'm going to blog something else. But when you publish a book, like, that sucker's in print now. Like, you're not going into change, more than likely much that's in there, unless you're launching a whole new version,
Right.
which I've done. I have launched whole new versions of books, but there is something really, really legacy building about books.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think what's funny, we published our anthology book, the first one. We're starting the second one. The first one we published in softcover, and Nancy and I were talking, and I was like, I think we should do a hardcover too. And we were like, yeah, maybe we should. And so we decided to go ahead. Nancy designed the hardcover version, and then it came. I happened to be at Nancy's house. She's like, we can open the box. It's here. And to feel a hardcover version of your book,
oh wow,
is like next level.
It's so real.
It feels like, well, this could be in a library, or this could, like, it just feels so grown up and official. And so I highly recommend to anybody, because it's not, if you're self-publishing and you're doing print on demand, you get a little less money out of it, but you can also charge more money. But it's the same process. You just have to kind of adjust things a bit. And it's up to the person. Do they want a soft cover or a hardcover? And it's really cool. Like, I would love to see your book in a hardcover.
I'm gonna.
Oh my God, look at this.
Oh my God. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a friend who has gone the self-publishing route. I go the self-publishing route as well. And he's done some hardcovers. So when I bought his stuff, like I'm like, oh, wow, this is like really sturdy. I haven't figured out. I might do a special edition of Bumblebees and White Balloons with a hardcover someday.
Oh,
And when this series is done, I guess we could talk about this maybe if we want.
Yes.
But when this
can we talk about your book actually rather than talking around it?
See, this is my visibility issues on speed dial here. Yeah. So when this series is finally done, I really want to hire this artist. His name's John G. Reinhardt. I want to hire him to do the whole series, like every book cover for the series. And then I would love to have some hardcover special editions someday when it's all finished being published and we have all the symbolism that's worked through the whole series, like to go back and even maybe have the spines line up. I don't know. I like to think long term.
I picture a box set.
I'm here for it. So yes, Amy and Nancy are here talking about storytelling today, because this is part of their new venture. The Passionistas Project's been around for a while, and you've done all these interviews, and now you're taking all these skills to the next level to both publish and produce and create anthologies and help people have that tangible legacy, as well as their solo works, helping interview them and create them. And I have firsthand experience, because this book would not be the same without the two of you. Like this, it'd be a good book. Like it was a good book, but now I think it's probably a great book. I hope I can say that.
Yeah, you can say that.
And we're so proud of you. It was an amazing book to start, and anything we contributed that might have even made it a little better, we're honored. But it is such a unique and beautiful story. It is so you. It is so hard to do what you did. You created a whole new world.
Created a universe. Yeah.
You created characters that I have not seen before, that we have not seen before. You created relationships that aren't reflected in most books, and especially in the genre that you've written in, and like the sci-fi fantasy genre. You've opened up an understanding of how people can live together in a way that most people don't get exposure to. And you have created a badass lead character who is, we're in this amazing, Safrianna and Nancy and I are doing this really fun visibility challenge right now. And today the question was, who's your favorite movie, character of all time? And our answer, which won't surprise Safrianna, was Princess Leia.
Mine was Ahsoka, so we've got the same universe going on here.
We've got the same universe, but the only reason I bring up Princess Leia is because I think, Nancy and I have talked about this, we think you have created the Princess Leia for the new generation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And everybody should buy this book for their kids, however they identify, because it is so powerful. And I cannot wait to see the next installments. Got so sucked, and it's a long book. And you'll see, you held it up. It's a long book.
It's 111K. It's roomy though. It's got room in it.
It flies by, and it's one of those books where literally, like, I see a big book and I get nervous. Like, okay, am I gonna get through it? That was the kind of book where it was like, all right, I have 10 minutes. I'm just going to read a little bit more. I can get through another chapter. Maybe I'll be 5 minutes late to where I'm going, but I'm just going to read a little bit more. Yeah. So we can't say enough good things.
I can't wait for the movie versions, because it's so, you can picture it. Like, it's there. It's the whole world is there for people to see, and the movie version is just going to be spectacular.
Yeah, the one of the characters, I don't want to give too much away, but one of the characters creates clothing, I'll say, and it's so vivid. And I just think, oh, whoever gets to be the costume designer on that movie is going to have a blast.
Oh my gosh, we can absolutely talk a little bit about specifics of the book without giving away any plots and things. You talk about too deeply, it starts to give away a little too much.
Yeah.
But Sprocket is the sort of fabricator, crafter character, and I am so excited to see what happens with Sprocket in book 2. And I know you both actually commented on Sprocket in particular when you were doing our feedback session, and it really blew me away, the specifics you gave me about the characters, because that was part of my worry. I was like, oh no, I don't know if these characters are coming across the right way. And Sprocket in particular was actually the character I walked into the book with the least knowledge of. I knew who Atalanta was. I knew who Barifka was. I knew who Jean was. I knew who Ashton was. I knew who Zos was. Sprocket was the surprise character who snuck under the radar and was like, hey, I'm a part of the crew. And I was like, oh, okay, well, welcome. We're gonna figure you out as we go, I guess. And for them to be one of the characters that you all right away were like, ooh, we're really intrigued, tell me more, was really cool.
Yeah, I think Sprocket is the hidden gem that is going to be the character that everybody falls in love with the most.
Mm-hmm.
R2D2.
Sprocket does have R2D2 vibes.
Yeah.
Keeping the Star Wars analogy going.
I mean, in so many ways, talking about storytelling and these common themes, my book, when I think about the threads that I've pulled on of, cultural stories and archetypes and media, I consider it part Star Wars, part The Expanse, because The Expanse is literally set in Earth, Mars, it's set in the solar system. So, this book is set currently on Earth. It's part Mad Max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's part Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
It's part a couple video games. There's one called My Time at Sandrock that was really influential to me, which is set in a desert town.
Okay.
And they're rebuilding from the cataclysm. So it's these threads, my book is unique, right? You said it's not quite like anything else. Yeah. But I am so influenced by all of these other storytellers and these common threads. Right now, I'm literally rewatching the cartoon She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. It's one of my favorite shows. It's so queer. It's so over the top, and I love it. And I'm literally taking notes as I'm reading or watching it, and I'm going, ooh, this character is like this character with this. Yeah. What would cause my character to get to that point? And then that's how the ideas start to come in, is through this shared resonance of stories.
Yeah. Tell us more about your process of writing this book, because it was long, right?
Yes. So the brainstorming started in July of 2024. So July 2024 was when it was theorized, and I was originally going to write a historical Earth pirate fantasy, but real life, but about a crew of queer pirates who are pirates in historical times because they're queer. Right? And then my partner Justin was like, Safrianna, I know you're really resistant about writing in your universe because you have trauma about it, which is a whole other story. But I really think you should consider setting this in that universe and let it be a bridge into telling the story of Saj, because Saj is the character that this is all leading into. Yeah. And so, there's stories within stories of this. So the question became, and this is major spoilers. I'm like, can I say major spoilers for my series? Because it's kind of in the
You can
book.
say one Can you just say one major spoiler?
This is one major spoiler.
Too many.
The whole reason I am writing this series is to answer one question. This was the kickoff point. What makes Zos hook up with Saj in space. Not hook up as in romantic, but like what makes Saj end up meeting Zeus in space? And that is the whole question that this series was created to answer, so that I could spend years and years and years before getting to Saj. And so
cool.
yeah, so that's like, this was supposed to be Zeus's backstory. And then all the characters are folding in around him. And now it's their story instead. But the process was literally that. Like, I started with that. Okay, now I'm going to have it in the universe. Well, what am I going to do in the universe? Okay, well, why does Zeus leave Earth? That's the story that needs to be told. And so then I started saying, well, who are my gay pirates? And then
where are my gay pirates at?
Yeah, where are my gay pirates at? So that was the start of the process, was just the brainstorming. And I have a core question for this other book series. And then I start doing vague outlines. I'm a plotzer. So I plot a little and I fly by the seat of my pants a little. Hence Sprocket. I had no idea who Sprocket was. I was like, I have a picture of you. Okay, that's it. I made character sheets for all of my characters. I researched their zodiac signs, their human design. I know their bio numbers. So I made a profile for the base of each character. And then I just started writing. And so for how I work, I do binge sessions. So my first 9 chapters, which are now no longer the first 9 chapters because they got stretched. But the first 9 chapters were written in 3 days. My whole novel, Bumblebees and White Balloons, minus 2 chapters, was written in 3 days. Like, I sit down and I gauntlet. So I locked myself in a hotel room. It was on election weekend. So the results had just been announced. And I was like, thank God I had the foresight to lock myself in a hotel room. So I did that, and I wrote for 3 days straight, and that was about 35,000 words. And then I had a mental breakdown because of everything that was happening in the world, and I stepped back, and then I came back in with another deep binge session, which was like another week of, I did practically nothing but write, and that was the first beta. Well, actually, that was the alpha, which I handed off, and then I did a few more tweaks, and then by June, I was handing off the beta. So from July to June, we had the first full draft of the book.
Incredible.
And then I handed it to my beta readers, and then I let them give me feedback, and then I go and I implement, and I do a 3rd and a 4th draft, and then I do a read through. The 4th draft is the read aloud. Oh my gosh, which is a gauntlet. And then we finesse, and then we do the rest of it. So my writing process is just a whole lot of Safrianna is glued to a chair for a week at a time.
That's amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah. Well, it's brilliant, and you should talk about it more.
Yes.
And we should talk about it more.
Yes.
And I want to thank you, because by asking us to give you feedback, a lot of people over the years, more and more over the years, people have been coming to us and asking us for feedback. And we give them feedback, and then they go away, and we don't really hear from them. And, we think, oh, hopefully that was helpful. And we've just been doing it to be nice, like, okay, yeah, sure. And because we love, in Warner Brothers, I probably read 5 scripts a week for 8 years, so I like reading scripts. I like reading books, and Nancy's theater development. She loves that stuff. So, but when you came to us and asked us to read that book, like, we always take it seriously, but because it was you, we were like, we are giving this 2000%. Like, we are going to give, and we knew that you wanted real, honest feedback.
Yeah, we knew you didn't want us to tell you what you wanted to hear. We knew you wanted honest feedback.
Yes. Yeah. I hate when people are like, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. And I'm like, great. But what didn't you enjoy about it? Like, where did you want more? Where did you want less? Like, and you all, you were just so incredible I hate this image because it's very patriarchal, I feel like. So this is a sexy, totally consensual corset. But it's like you took my book and you helped tie up the corset strings and just tighten it a little bit in like a really good, sexy way.
Oh, that's
Because it was one of the big things, and this is not really spoilery, but the book takes place about, I think it's 4 days. And I say I think because I think originally it was 5 days.
Mhm.
And you all were able to give me such specific feedback on like where the narrative started to dip and kind of lag too much, that I was able to trim the essential parts and stitch them back in other places and lose a whole day off the narrative so that it was able to have the story beats and the punchiness uh, really maintained without losing anything of real value. Like nothing of real value is lost. And the greatest casualty in the cuts that I joke with everyone was the flirting. Because I was like, okay, now it's too fast for some of the flirts that are happening. But for the record, those sections have been cut out and preserved to be used in book 2 now.
Oh,
Because
good.
they're close enough. Like some of the pieces that I caught, I was like, I do like this. And I think it would totally make sense in book 2. So, some of the feedback, like when you help people with their nonfiction manuscripts,
Yeah.
and their memoirs, you're also able to help them identify like this story is so important for you to share, but maybe you don't need this part of it here, or this part would make more sense here, and it really just makes everything so much more cohesive. And that's something that we authors, we're too close to it to see where like, because we know all the stuff in the back of our head.
Yeah, it's really what we're best at, like Amy said, because she was so involved in the editorial process on films. That was part of what they would do, right? They would shoot the film, they would have the script, they'd shoot the film, and then they'd put it together and go like, show it to audience recruits, this isn't working. We have to take this part and move it here and shift this around and cut this. And I was also involved. I had a theater company for years. And my husband wrote musicals. So I was very involved in the process of creating those shows and seeing them on their feet and going, why isn't this working? We need a new song here. No, this song needs to be about here. And then we need an act break here, so the structure of where things go and the arc of the story is really what we're especially good at because of our backgrounds, and we come at it from a different way,
Yeah.
Yes, that whole vision was so like, it not only helped the book that you had those experiences, but it also got me excited for the possibilities in the book and where I'm going and all of that. And I think that that's a thing that you really bring to the table with the writing piece, is you also have these backgrounds, not just in media and production and all of that and writing, but also business and community building and building movements. And that is, you have figured out how to share narratives in a way that comes across as natural rather than salesy. So what are some of those like tricks to the trade? Like, how do you support people? Because that's one of my big fears when it comes to the sharing of my writing. I'm like, oh no, like people are going to think I only care about getting sales. And that is so far from the, if you actually know me, you would never think that about me ever. And I get that. But most people that are going to buy from me don't know me yet. Like, and so then I'm like, oh, I don't want them to misunderstand me. So yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's, first of all, I want to say, because we do the exact same thing. And I also think there's a part of like hearing you say it makes me in my head go like, okay, take this advice when you give it to Safrianna. It's okay that you want to sell your book.
That's why you wrote it.
Like, it actually is that in and of itself is an okay thing, but we're all very giving people. We're all about serving other people, and we don't want to be salesy. But at the same time, like, you have created something beautiful that everybody should read and everybody should buy. So I first of all just want to say it's okay to want to sell your book. But second of all, I think the fact that you're not salesy, the fact that you just authentically have created something beautiful that you want to put out into the world, and share with as many people as possible is what makes your sales style authentic. Like, you're not, if people didn't buy the book, you wouldn't be upset with them. You wouldn't, you're not out there like in a pop-up shop every weekend at a farmer's market trying to shill your book out the back of the van, which is fine. And more power to the people who do it. Again, is probably something we should do. But you are coming from a really authentic place. And I think because the content is so much a part of you and your soul, like, you have created character. There were moments in the book, knowing you and reading the book, where I'm like, oh, I wonder if Safrianna's experienced that, or I wonder if that came from Safrianna's personal life, or if she had this experience that was similar, because it just felt so real.
Mm.
And so you've created that in a piece of fiction. But I think when it comes to writing a memoir, or writing an anthology book chapter, or writing your copy for your website or your product that you're selling, or to promote your event or whatever that thing is, applying that same authenticity is core. And people are either going to respond to it or they aren't. If they don't respond to it, they're not your people. But the people who you have opened yourself up to say, I'm Safrianna, I'm the queer spirit guide, and this is why. And then you are very vulnerable about the reasons that is the career path you've chosen.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make, I feel instantly connected with you when I read about your brand, that brand story.
Right.
Put it in sales and marketing perspective. Because it's who you are. And you're just saying, I'm here. This is what I do. If this speaks to you, come to me. If it's not, then no hard feelings. See you later. But if we didn't know, if you didn't share that in your materials, if you don't share that about your book, like, this is what this book is about, this is why this book is important, then how do I know whether it's a good fit for me as a client or as a reader? So I think that the key to, in the world we live in now, especially when there's so many choices, if we aren't authentic, if we don't really share the vulnerable stuff in our marketing materials, in the work that we're creating and the content we're creating, no one's going to care, and they're going to go on to the next thing.
Yeah. And we say that about our community all the time too. I mean, people are always like, is it okay if I post about such and such a thing? And it's like, of course it's okay. That's the point. We want to hear each other's stories and see what we're doing and follow each other's work so that we can learn about one another and support one another. If you don't share authentically, it's really hard to connect and support. So I think that's what we're talking about in our upcoming workshop is, even as a brand, nowadays the people connect to the person behind the brand. They don't connect to statistics. They don't connect to facts. They connect to the person behind the brand. For years and years, Amy and I did not show our face as the Passionistas Project. The Passionistas Project was about the women in the community, the women we were interviewing. And at one point, someone said to us, do you realize that your faces are not on your website anywhere? And we're like, because it's not about us. And they were like, no, it is about you. It's, and it is. And we finally embraced that. And we realized that the community is the community that it has become because of us and because of it reflects our mission and our vision and our compassion and our empathy for people, and starts at the top. So, and that all happened because we stepped up and shared our story and shared our authentic story. We share our struggles with people. We share everything, so I think, part of what's wrong with the world is there's this Instagram, Facebook world where everyone just shares, the beautiful glossy side of their life. And everyone looks and goes like, oh, they're perfect. What's wrong with me? And that's
then
not
you realize they're photoshopped.
then you realize they're photoshopped. And that's not what our community is all about. Our community is about coming. I sat 10 minutes, 15 minutes before this started. I'm like, oh, I should go put on makeup. I'm going to be on camera. And then I went, you know what? Nah, it's fine. Why do I need to put on makeup? Like that's such a, a thing that's ingrained in us. If people are going to see me, I have to have makeup on.
Oh my gosh, I could tell stories about that because I got my live stream start long ago, and I would do I put on my signature red lip or a blue lip or something just because I like it. Literally, I don't wear any other makeup now. I used to do a full face of makeup and put on a wig before I would go live back in the 2000 teens. So yeah, this authenticity piece, like I love even, these vulnerable shares of like how hard it is to show up in vulnerability and authenticity. And like, that's what makes your community incredible. And it's what really deepens the storytelling capacity, the realness. Like you're reflecting in my book how real it is, even though it's fiction. All of my fiction is like that. It's very tangible and real because yes, they're glimpses that are based off of parts of me or parts of my life or visions and dreams that I've had, or, all of these other things. And there is anything that we're putting in writing, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, that is leaving that legacy. It's like leaving an imprint. It's our thumbprint, our soul print in the world. And, but also the authenticity piece is how we find our people. The more that I've stepped into my authenticity and the more that I've even shared about my struggles, the more that I've gained support. And I think that in a world right now where, and this is not the purpose of the conversation, so we don't have to go down this path, but in a world where so many people are taking AI to literally put in a prompt, have it be written for them, and they just put it, like they don't even do anything with it, they just publish it. We are craving now more than ever to see content that really has the heart and soul. Even if AI was used as a tool to get part of the way there, it can't be used to get 100% of the way there. And we're seeing that now. And so people are really like, they're looking for, I think, different forms of marketing. They're looking for different forms of shares that are creating an emotional resonance that can really inspire action. And so that's like my next question is, what is it, aside from the vulnerability, what creates a strong enough emotional resonance for people to actually go take an action of buying a book or signing up for a workshop? Like, what really is the part of storytelling that hooks people in?
I mean, I think when it comes to the branding stuff, I think the other part of it, and I just was reading something somebody sent us right before we hopped on this, and I can't remember what it is right now. But I remember reading it and thinking, I don't know anything about this person. Like just from a like, take the emotion and the vulnerability out of it, right? Like Nancy was saying about us when we started the Passionistas Project. Like not only did we not have a photo, we didn't have a bio. So nobody knew everything we had accomplished in our careers. And partly because it was a little weird for us because it was like we did these things independently, but we're sharing a bio. Like, how did we make it work now that we were doing this new thing? Part of it was when I cut ties from my past career in entertainment, I cut ties. I'm like, I'm done with those people. I don't want anything to do with them. I want to just forget that ever existed. But I think as women, especially, a lot of the time, we feel like we're being braggadocious or people don't really want to hear all the details. And in reality, like people need to know why you.
Right.
Like there are 50 business coaches that I could name off the top of my head. So why would I go to Julie DeLuca Collins to be my business coach? Well, because Julie ran these incredibly successful businesses and built businesses, scaled them, and also developed systems for how to run those businesses. She shares that very freely. So I know like, oh, I'm in very capable hands. And I think a lot of the time people either kind of forget that people don't know what their accomplishments are, or they think, I shouldn't share all that because nobody really cares. And it's like, no, that's important. So it's to me, it's a combination. It's being really vulnerable and willing to kind of emotionally bring the person into you as a human being. But the other part is like 9 times out of 10, if you're starting a business and you are going to be, positioning yourself as an expert in the field, you are positioning yourself because you have amazing experience and you need to toot your own horn. And I think as women, non-binary people from marginalized communities in general, like we aren't taught to toot our own horns. We're taught to do the work. And if
me doing this.
Yeah, and if we do more than that, then we're being, we're bragging or something. And it's like, no, these are the facts. I had a kick-ass career. This is what I've done. And that's why I am perfectly positioned to help you do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And as for why people take the step to share their story, I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what that switch is that turns in someone who's been wanting to tell their story for 20 years and all of a sudden now decides to share it. What I can say is why they decide to share it with us is because we have on over 1,600 interviews under our belts. We stopped counting a long time ago, but it's a rough estimate. We make a new rough estimate every once in a while.
You got to update the stats.
At least another 100 of them. Let's say 1,600 now. But we have developed an interviewing style that makes people feel very, very comfortable talking to us and sharing with us and being vulnerable with us. From celebrities who sit in front of us and tell us that they've just told us a story that they've never told to somebody else ever, to women in our book, in our anthology book, who have shared stories for the first time that they've never told anyone. And I think our process and our personalities allow people to dig deeper and feel vulnerable. So, but I'd love to figure out what that switch is that makes them decide they're ready to do it. I think the women who talk to us decide they're ready because they feel safe with us.
And I also think part of it is being told by somebody beyond, like someone in your family or your friends who are just being nice, like you have a story to tell. I think a lot of people, I know from talking to a lot of these women, like, well, but no one's going to relate to my story. And when we hear it and we go, oh my God, I've never experienced that, but I can relate to this part of it, or it's so helpful for me to learn that someone's had that experience and I want to know more about it. I think just hearing from somebody else, like, oh, you think there's value in my story, helps those people who are teetering on the edge of like, I've been wanting to write this book for 20 years and okay, I'm going to do it. It's because they need encouragement. So whether that's from us directly or they're in the sisterhood, the Passionistas Project sisterhood, and they say, oh, I want to share my story. And someone says like, oh my God, I'd love to hear it. Or they go on a couple podcasts and they get the reaction like, oh, people are finding this interesting. I think that helps push people to that next phase.
Yeah. Inspiration and encouragement and yeah, vulnerability. Like, and I love that you brought up Julie and you said she just shares what she has to offer. Like she just puts herself out there. And so people can take action because she's telling them that they can take action. And so, we're going to invite people to take some actions. And I would love to just share about your upcoming free workshop.
Okay.
Because this is, if you want to actually see what Amy and Nancy are like when they're teaching their stuff and they're honing you into your superpower, they have an upcoming workshop on Wednesday, November 19th.
That's right.
And that is at 4 p.m. Pacific time, so 7 Eastern.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is free. Do they have to be a member of the Passionistas community to join? Can they just join?
We'd like them to be, but if they don't want to do that, take that step yet, they don't have to. But it's free to join, so that would be ideal.
Yeah,
yeah, because they can sign up via Eventbrite for the event itself.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to be taking people through tuning into like uncovering their story. This is specifically for people who do have businesses in the world, correct? How to use that story for business.
Yeah, we really hone in on the idea that storytelling isn't just about writing a book, or script or something. It can be how you share your story with your potential clients, with your own community. And, like Amy said, writing the copy for your website, writing your about page, making your about page something that really draws people in and really helps them get to know you and trust you and be ready to hire you and with your services. So yeah, and it's really it's a little nugget of what we do. It's just sort of the beginning steps of the process to how to uncover your story and why that is an important thing to do.
Yeah. And I just recently saw, because I was on your website looking at the workshop and looking at some other things, that you have brand new coaching packages out as well. Like you've updated your website, so your offer is very clear that you are now offering in this very formal way. People can hire you to work on the books.
Yes.
Like you've got all these packages people can get depending on the level of support they're looking for and the level of input. And like you said, people like me who already had like a full draft done, you work with people like that. And you also work with people that are starting from zero. So if you do have a book to write, like, again, I cannot sing your praises enough. And like Lisa said in the chat, there's so many times that she tunes into the sisterhood to support thinking, not really interested in the subject matter, and then constantly surprised by how many interesting people's stories can be, or how interesting people's stories can be. So yeah, the sisterhood is it is a storytelling place, right? The share anything wall really becomes snapshots of people's lives. And that is, I think, what personalizes us. Like I posted about my gourds the other day, which Gordon is coming. He's going to be a whole different creature than Quailington and Goosey, but Gordon's coming.
I was having such a struggle that day, and I'm like, "Oh, Safrianna posted something. I'll go look." And it was hysterical. I was laughing for like 10 minutes straight. I'm like, "I love this so much. I wish every day was posts just like this."
And that's, the storytelling behind the scenes in our lives really does humanize us. I think that's like, you help people pull out those gems that make people smile or laugh or feel the deep emotional resonance, the movement to want to connect. And it's so easy to connect with the two of you and to have conversations for hours as we're coming up on our hour here. So,
oh my God, that flew by. Well, you were, I kind of didn't say the full thing I wanted to say before, which is reading your book and giving you feedback was the final piece in the puzzle for us, that this was something that we could offer to people, that your reaction to the feedback we gave you and the way you took it in, the way you implemented it really made us feel like, oh, okay, this is something of value. It's beyond just like doing it for friends. And so without you asking us to do that, I don't know that we would have come to that conclusion. So we're super grateful that you trusted us, because we know there's such a level of trust in asking people to read a work in progress.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were so honored that you asked us, and then to work through the process with you and have the call about the notes and really talk it through was just like such a pivotal moment for us. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
thank you. No, I love that. And this is, when we have an ask and we ask, like, something beautiful almost always comes of it. It helps someone else realize a gift or a talent or a skill. And I love that you are taking these steps down supporting authors and writers, because I felt incredibly supported. And again, weird image, non-patriarchal corset tying.
I love that image. I'm
beautiful.
Totally embracing that. And I know Nancy feels the same way. We cannot wait to read the next book.
Well, on that note, I will share that I am getting ready to reread this one for a final time before I formalize it on Ingram Spark, because if you've ever published on Ingram Spark, you know that you have 60 days to fix any errors or they charge you money. So we're making sure we go in with 0 errors because I'm not going to read it again until I have to again. But I just shared a live the other day. I have a little treasure box I just got. I'm going to read the book and I'm going to put my note cards in the treasure box about each character and all of the canon events so that I can pick out what threads to pull through in book 2. And I did start writing. I have like 100 words of a possible prologue, scene 1 for book 2. So it's literally starting to stitch together. And I suspect I will be formally writing it in the next 3 to 4 weeks if I had to.
I want to say too, when the box set comes out, there needs to be a special edition that is all the character studies with their human design and everything. I
the bonus book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
That's like I seen. This is why we hire Amy and Nancy, because the idea is just and the Hollywood and the everything.
Oh my God, brilliant.
I love you all so much. Please go, if you're a storyteller and you want to tie it into your business, if that is relevant to you, go sign up for the workshop. There's no reason not to. It's down here in the link in the description, and it's free. So it's an easy yes. If you're like, I want this, I want to transform how I am showing up and call in my people and build trust and communicate who I am. You all help me so much with that. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's always just a delight to chat with you and hang out and have a good time.
We love you. We love you. We love you.
So again, and I'll call to action. If you want to go buy The Wind Sings Sorrow, it is available at safrianna.com. You just go to the books on the very top section and it'll be right there. And I'll make sure that it's down here too.
It's the perfect book to get right before the holidays.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a couple weeks off for the holidays. Make a cup of cocoa.
If you really want a holiday book and you want to cry your freaking eyes out, Bubble Books and White Balloons is actually set at the beginning of Christmas. It goes from Christmas to Christmas.
All right.
Oh, I gotta
read that.
You buy yourself a really soft
I'm
box of tissue.
shameless plug that our hardcover book just got released this week. Awakening Your Power.
Yes, I will update this and get all of the book links here in the description.
While we're reading, get your whole library together and ready for your holiday vacation.
Oh my gosh. Well, again, thank you, Amy and Nancy. You are both a delight. And I just am so excited for all that you're doing in the world. And I will be here cheering you on every step of the way.
It keeps us going, and we appreciate it. We're so grateful to you. You got us nominated for an award and all that stuff. And
I did nominate you for an award. I should have plugged that here too.
No, but that's okay. But you're just such a constant source of beauty and support in our lives, and we're so grateful for you.
Thank you. Likewise. Well, until next time, my friends, wherever you are tuning in from, whenever you're tuning in from, I'm Safrianna Lughna, the Queer Spirit Guide, and I'm so delighted to have been here with Amy and Nancy Harrington. Until next time, my friends, bye for now.